Hi there, beloved ones. Reverend Beth Simmons here with your midweek moment for this second week of October. I am sitting here in my backyard under a butternut tree. There's a woodpecker up there looking for bugs in that butternut tree. The goats are out in the field and the chickens, and I'm actually right in front of my children's tire swing, watching it sway in the breeze and trying to hold the dissonance of the beauty and stillness and peace of this place with the tragedy that is going on in the world. We are now a few days out from a very calculated and horrifying attack by the terrorist group Hamas on Israelis in Gaza, and the very swift, just as horrifying response by the Israeli government and military retaliation. The history there is long and complicated and filled with violence and aggression and oppression on both sides. So I'm not going to get into all that complicated story and history. I hope you will take time to look it up. But the truth is, these are not somebody else's children. Palestinian children are not the enemy of Jewish children. Jewish Israeli children are not the enemy of Palestinians. None of them are foreign to us. They are their children. They are our children. I don't know who was the one who said there is no such thing as somebody else's children. My children are inside, enjoying a Wednesday. It's cool and kind of gloomy here, so we're having a quiet day at home, and there is so much heartbreak. And it is just unimaginable. To those of us who live in beautiful, quiet, peaceful places like this, who never in our lives have to build a bomb shelter, or worry about going to a music festival. You know, I've got young adult kids as well, and they go to music festivals, and I don't have to worry about them. You know, I mean, making questionable young adult choices perhaps, but not that missiles are going to explode on them. And it is unimaginable. And at the same time that we have these very human-created tragedies and devastation and death and grief, not so far away in Afghanistan, we have grief and disaster and death struck by the earth and an earthquake. And whole villages have been wiped out. And I was reading an article today, and they were talking about this village that had about 2,000 people living there, and these are very simple, sort of living on the margins, what they call it, like hand to mouth. So they grow much of the food that they eat, and they subsist on some grazing of very small herds of animals, and some labor in Iran. And that's it. They do not have a lot, and they live in mud brick houses, which are no match for a 6.3 earthquake. And a village of 2,000, and they're estimating at the moment that 750 people have died. I live in a little village. It's not mud brick houses, although many of us have brick. But we have fewer people than that. We have about as of the last census, about 1,700 people live in the village of Hancock, in the town of Hancock. And I can't imagine if 750 people suddenly died. Just suddenly gone. Families, whole families, most of families. I was reading the story of an 18-year-old who was out tending his family's small flock of 8 sheep. And at the rumbling, he left his herd and ran to his family, and they were gone under the pile of rubble that was his house. And in his shock, he was telling the reporter he doesn't even know what happened to the sheep. His family is gone. Most likely his livelihood is gone. And I'm here in New Hampshire. And it's a gray, cloudy day, but it's still a beautiful autumn. Colors and peace and quiet and nature and so far away from the magnitude of grief that is occurring in so many places in this world. And so I want to hold that today. I don't have solutions. I don't have words that can make it less painful. And I think that's okay. I think we need to be able to feel this pain, to grieve for villagers and city folk, children and elders, and everyone in between that we don't know. I know I have plenty of friends who are like, oh, I have friends with family in Israel, or friends with, know people in Palestine. We don't have to know anyone. We don't have to know anyone in a tiny village in Afghanistan or on the border of Israel and Palestine to grieve for the loss of life. And we don't have to make it go away. Should it take over our whole lives? Perhaps not. But it should absolutely infuse and be present in what we do, in who we are. Because if we can turn aside and say, not my problem, then our humanity is slipping away from us. So I'm going to end with a song. very simple song, and it comes from a psalm, from the words of a psalm, which are go-to in times of grief and struggle and pain. And how long, O Lord, cries of lament, because that's what they're full of. They're full of real, true human emotion. So I invite you into a place of stillness, because I think sometimes that is all we can do, is simply stop. Stop. Let the grief stop us. Interrupt our busyness and our everyday going on, and let us just sit still. Offer our grief to God, to the universe, to those who have lost beloved ones, in solidarity. And know that God weeps with us. Will you join me? Be still and know that I am God. 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 Friends, peace be with you. Peace be in front of you and behind you and beside you. And may you, in your lives, with whatever you say and do, be instruments of peace in this world in desperate need. Be well, friends.